Welcome back to the TTT Now Morning Show, guys. Thank you so much for staying with us. On the line, I have with us this morning ExporTT. Now, ExporTT, in collaboration with the Trinidad and Tobago Manufacturers Association and the Ministry of Trade and Industry, earlier this year, the Minister, Paula Gopi-Schoon, would have introduced, earlier this year, meaning February in 2021, would have introduced an initiative that supports, seeks to empower and enhance the capability of TNT's exporting community by having their key support agencies work together and roll out an umbrella of support arrangements in a very structured and robust manner. Now, we know that the pandemic has caused ill in every sector of our society, and of course we want to know that the export sector can get, the non-energy support sector can now get back on stream. So this initiative, the Export Booster Initiative, is what we're talking about this morning with the General Manager of ExporTT Limited, Mr. Dhanraj Harrypersad. Good morning and welcome to the TTT Now Morning Show, Mr. Hariprasad.
Good morning. Good morning to you and all the viewers.
Thank you so much for coming here so early this morning. Now, we're talking about the Export Booster Initiative. Could you shed some light on that for us? Let the nation know what this is exactly.
Okay, so above all, what this initiative is trying to do is build competitiveness for our exporters. There are a couple of things that deal with the short term, such as virtual trade missions, research, and a bunch of activities that are geared towards encouraging those leads that are generated from the trade missions. So we have translation services that will support the follow-up and in-market promotions activities. So after you make that initial order and you get into the market, you do have that support to start building brand recognition and awareness so that, you know, you can move from container 1 to container 2 and then build on that. There are also some longer-term initiatives that are geared towards building capacity and helping companies to meet their import requirements so that they could eventually enter markets. And then there's some institutional strengthening for both ExporTT and TTMA to ensure that we are able to offer better services and a better client experience to our exporters and clients and members as well to TTMA.
Fantastic. And so how is this a timed scenario, or is it something that's going to be ongoing as we move along post-pandemic?
Right. So, I mean, the timing, one might question, you know, why now? Why would you have an initiative now at this peak time during the pandemic? I mean, we've already been like 18 months into this pandemic. It doesn't show any signs of really slowing down. So business must continue. At the same time, it's a challenging time. However, there are opportunities. We are seeing that freight costs are escalating. I think last time I checked, it was coming out of Shanghai to Chicago is probably about 21,000 US dollars. So those prices have skyrocketed. Meanwhile, our freight costs from the Caribbean, north of the Caribbean to the US, that has been relatively stable. So there are opportunities for us in terms of not being able to get your product from those far-flung supply destinations. You can now get it from the Caribbean at lower freight costs and shorter time frame. So there are opportunities there. In terms of the time frame, we are looking at implementing this into the next fiscal, which should end up September 2022. However, there are certain initiatives that we would want to keep on. They have been performing quite well right now. So it's something that ExporTT would want to include as part of our portfolio going on.
I like where you said, you know, there are things that are within the Caribbean that we can benefit from. Of course, we want to keep it local in the Caribbean sense, of course. But in terms of the actual project, because I know that the EBI will pursue 16 initiatives and under 3 broad categories. So can you just expand on that for me a little bit?
Okay, sure. So there's the 3 main pillars, export promotion, capacity building, and institutional strengthening. So under export promotion, there are some things to be launched. We are looking at trade offices in some key markets like Panama and the Dominican Republic. We are also looking at having more trade attaches. So persons that are responsible, they are situated in the embassies and high commissions, but they are working with businesses to secure leads and meetings for us. There's also virtual trade missions. So there are 12 of those on the initiative, and we are doing a lot more research. So there are 6 markets targeted for research that we're doing. Under the capacity building pillar, the major project has been the International Certification Fund, which works with exporters to ensure that they meet the import requirements to get into markets. There are certain mandatory requirements. For example, to get into the U.S., food products need to satisfy the Food Safety Modernization Act. So this program is helping exporters to meet those requirements by offering technical support, access to funding for machinery and equipment, as well as for any infrastructural changes that you have. We also have innovation vouchers and product testing. That is usually a requirement as well to get into market. And the innovation vouchers are to really spur on that innovation to create new products that are specifically targeted to certain markets, because sometimes we might have existing products for the Caribbean, but if you're trying to target it to like Latin America, there might be a different taste profile. You might have to change up your packaging, colors and stuff like that. It would be more appealing to consumers. And with the institutional strengthening at ExporTT, we're trying to elevate really the services that we offer and how we deliver those services, much more client focused, make sure that we understand the objectives of our clients and we work with them one-on-one, as opposed to, this one-size-fits-all approach of just offering things. On the TTMA side, they have set up an export business unit that is headed by a trade consultant who has been working with some of the larger exporters to understand their needs and have been supporting them in terms of the implementation. So we are partnering with the TTMA on a trade mission to Dominican Republic that should be happening at the end of October going into November.
That's fantastic. And with regards to the project as it's unfolding now, where are you? Where are these organizations right now in terms of rolling it out?
Okay, so there are a couple active projects that we have now. So we have been working on the virtual trade missions, and we've completed to date Panama, Jamaica, and we're currently working on Guyana. Next year, we have a couple markets that we're looking at as well. TTMA and ExporTT are collaborating on one for DR, as I mentioned. We also have some collaborations that are ongoing with the American Chamber, Trinidad and Tobago, for 2 cities in the U.S., Chicago and Atlanta. And we also have a project with Fashion TT that is geared towards looking at 11 of our top fashion designers and setting up meetings for them through a virtual trade mission to Miami. So those activities have been ongoing, and I think there's probably around 50 odd exporters that have been benefiting from that. On the other side, the capacity building side, we have launched our Export Accelerator program. 10 companies are benefiting from that. We've been doing a lot of work with Tobago companies. In fact, 10 of our Tobago manufacturers have been placed on a Shop Carib, which is an e-commerce facility that allows them to sell their products abroad. So that has been happening as well. And then on the certification, the International Certification Fund I mentioned, there were 6 or 7 companies that have benefited thus far, and we are taking on more applications.
You're definitely implementing some more digitization as well in terms of that whole process, because we know that that's the way to go now as we move forward with any initiative at all. How can businesses learn more about the Export Booster Initiative?
Okay, so they could contact us. Well, first of all, we have been flooding all our social media handles. So you can check Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, any ExporTTs and TTMAs, because we have this combined communication plan. You can email us at info@exportt.co.tt. You can just call us.
Right. Great stuff. Well, thank you so very much for sharing this information with us this morning. I'm sure those who are getting involved in trying to export or getting back on track with exporting will definitely benefit from this information. So thank you very much, Mr. Hariprasad, for joining us here on the TTT Now Morning Show. Wishing you a beautiful day today, and of course, all of Trinidad and Tobago.
Okay, sure. Thank you. My pleasure.
Bye-bye.